Good evening and welcome to another episode of Zooster by Night, where we are following events of the anti-heroes of Zooster, the Sabbat Packs. This evening we are starting off with Legate Seth Cardigan, who has been, since the previous night, in his abattoir in trying to suss out the meanings and hidden meanings behind the omen that he had received while visiting Cain's bastards with respects to the culling and the fire ants consuming everything in sight. So he is actually sitting cross-legged in the little corner that he's kind of made as a special shrine at the back room of the butcher shop, and is doodling with the charred hands he has left over from the previous pack meeting on the wall.
You are sitting there in quiet contemplation, or as quiet as you can get with the potential voices in your head, when a rush comes over you. You feel your mind being transported across time, across space. You fade out of view. You take a sort of bird's eye view of just the city, and then you zoom in on a location that you can't really identify directly. But you see an obelisk, and on the obelisk you see a a captain of a vessel, a some sort of space vessel. And this captain is wearing sort of traditional or quasi-traditional cowboys gear. But then she's a female. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this particular craft start descending faster and faster on a crash course with a lake, a big red lake, and it crashes with violence in this particular lake. Your mind's eye, you move closer to see what is going on here, and you see that this particular captain is having a lot of trouble, a lot of difficulty trying to get out of this particular craft, all the while looking up at this obelisk with an eye, a judging eye, watching this as it transpires. And as this eye transpires, you get visions, you get feelings that you have felt before, recognition. First time that you met would be during Christmas, during Yule. Then the vision stops and you are uncertain. Well, you might be uncertain as to what exactly transpired.
It was, it's always difficult to tell whether one's seeing the future or one's seeing recent events. Uh, I am young enough in mortal years that I can make some extrapolation that this seems to be a poor omen, or a bad omen at least, for leader of the Fireflies, the captain at least of the Fireflies. Whether she's the leader per se, I think would be speculation, depending on who you ask. But we would. That does not seem like a good omen, and it especially if the impression is made with respects to who I met at around Christmas time, the visions that I had at that time of the one coming to purify us for the upcoming battles. I will get up and making myself exceptionally difficult to notice. I will head into the city and follow my instincts on where I need to go to try to head off or prevent, if possible, the outcome of this vision.
All right. I'm quite sure you're using unseen presence,
Yes.
obfuscation, and let's see. How familiar is Seth with Zista City, as in the general
In
surrounding?
general, I mean, the northern part of the city I'm familiar with because it's kind of where I've been sticking to. I've
Mhm.
wandered down within like the Prometheans territory when I was in my nightmare state, but I haven't spent a lot of time wandering away too far, at least from where the main transit lines run.
All right. Um, how about you roll me a wits plus awareness
Okay.
as you're trying to follow your vision, so to speak.
Okay.
Right.
Standard difficulty.
Standard difficulty indeed. Three successes.
Three. Yeah.
It takes you down first, all the way down to the bridges that take you to the south of the river. And as you, what's your mode of transportation at the moment?
Um, on foot.
On foot. Okay, no, just making sure.
Yeah.
It might take you a little while before you get there.
Yeah, I don't want to run the risk of hailing a cab and having a cabbie recognize my face now. And with resources of zero, I don't have my own personal mode of transportation. So,
Yeah, and you probably don't have enough money for the subway. So, although you might be able to, but that's something for another time.
well, and that's why I've kind of haven't moved too far off the transit lines because with unseen presence, I can go on to like the subway
Exactly.
and not be noticed. So I mean, I can make long distances. But once I get off the subway tracks and start wandering, then yeah, I'm on foot.
Um, does Seth know that he will show on camera?
He is aware of that. Because I mean that's yeah, I think that's pretty obviously known. So I guess it depends. What kind of role would it be to notice what the security is like at on for the subways? Like, are they in good
Intelligence
state?
plus technology,
Okay.
if you have it.
Yeah, I have both of those, intelligence and technology.
Well, I kind of hope that you had intelligence. Um, they will have cameras, but more often than not, people don't pay attention to these cameras. And also, if they're watching it right this moment, you would know that your unseen presence will cloud their vision because in real time they can't notice you.
So as long as there's not an incident, nobody would have a reason to go through the footage anyway. So if I
Exactly.
keep my head down and don't look directly up into the camera, then it should be
Exactly.
relatively safe.
As you, well, then I'm assuming you're taking the subway.
Yeah, because otherwise, yeah, I think that would be a long time walking to get from the north end down to
Yeah. Because I believe you're in Eastgate, right? Or in like in the northeast.
Trenton Blackgate area.
Oh, that's even better. All right, so you take the the Black Line at Trenton Station or in Blackgate, all the way down. And as you're taking the line, by the way, uh, you eventually do have to get on a different one. But as you're making your way further south and you're looking at the various transit lines and where they stop, you do see a particular stop, Rat Lake. Perhaps you need to be near there.
Okay. If that catches my eye, then I will assume that that is where my intuition is leading me. So when we get to that stop, I will slide off the transit and make my way out of the station into the streets.
All right. You're making your way out. Um, sort of your precognition, your special awareness that you have as a Malkavian is sending you in approximately the right direction. As you walk towards Red Lake, you also realize that she fell from an obelisk. So she most likely is not in Red Lake, but came from somewhere near Red Lake.
I'll
Um,
look along the skyline for tall structures,
all right.
high rise,
Make me a
something.
perception streetwise if you want to.
Okay.
If you don't have streetwise, just perception.
I do have perception, and I botch
Okay. No.
it.
You're looking around, and pretty much what's going on is you you think you need to be at a tall building, but it has to be at Red Lake. It has to be around Red Lake. You know that for sure.
Okay, so I'll wander around Rat Lake.
Yeah, you're going to be wandering there for a little while. Let's say after half an hour of not finding anything, and perhaps realizing that your gut might have been wrong, you can make
That
another one
happens
if you.
once in a while.
It does. You can make another one if you want to,
Okay,
and hope that you don't botch.
one success.
One success. As you're sort of circling around, sort of looking around, you're not entirely sure why you hadn't noticed this particular building before, but you do see well, you're quite sure is a hotel. Hotel overviewing the lake. It almost seems to tower over it a little bit, or in your mind's eye. That's where you need to go.
Okay, I will head for the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Again, kind of keeping my head ducked down so I'm not looking directly at any cameras along the ceilings. I'm going to look to see what kind of, like, if early in the evening, is it a busy enough hotel? Is there people going in and out, or?
Oh, this is going to be taking. Oh, this is going to be after midnight, I
Oh,
believe, if I remember
yeah,
correctly.
yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
So it's not going to be very busy.
Hmm.
You're not entirely sure whether you'll be able to just get in.
Well, I can try to walk in without being noticed. Keeping my head down just might make it decent enough. So I think I get a wits and stealth roll if I'm doing something that would attract attention.
Potentially break obfuscation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um. Would you
like walking through automatic doors might bring attention.
It's not an automatic door though. It's a revolving door.
Oh, okay. It still could it bring attention, but what difficulty would you set it? Because squeaking
If you're,
floor is an example of 5 and walking through water at difficulty 9.
yeah, I'm gonna say if you're gonna go through a revolving door, what, and not waiting for someone to walk through it as well, I'm just gonna say 7.
Okay, and I botch it.
Okie dokie. Whoever is behind the desk, I believe this night is going to be a male. Well, notice you come in. But you had your head down, right? To
Yeah,
sort of no. You can
and I can
see
make
him
a
sort of
stealth
look
or
at you.
subterfuge roll if I need to as well to try to keep my face from being noticed.
Yeah, you could just see him look at you as you approach, kind of telling you that your obfuscation has just broken.
Okay,
Actually, you botched.
yeah, so
No,
I would.
you have no idea that it's that
I'm being sneaky, sneaky, super
you're
sneaky.
being sneaky. You see him look in your general direction, but you're dismissing it as though he probably saw the revolving door and be like, yeah, of course. You're
Well,
gonna
of
be
course. So if she fell from the top of the obelisk, I will make my way towards the L staircase. Would have a doorway. Elevator would not. The elevator's facing the front desk, or is it around the corner?
sort of around the corner. It's like off to the side a little bit, so he has a view of
Okay.
that. The staircase is sort of around the corner of the front desk.
Um, well, you know what? If the staircase is around the corner, then I'll just go to the staircase because it's less likely that I'll encounter or attract attention if I go up the stairs all the way up instead of using the elevator.
Um, Make me a perception alertness check. This is
Okay.
probably going to be one of the last rolls you have to make.
No successes.
Okay. Yeah, you have no idea. Yeah, you
So
can just make
that's
your way
that's the
to.
assumption I'm making.
Yeah, you can just make your way to the staircase and start walking. Would you be walking all the way up?
Um, I would if she came from yeah, if she fell from the top of the obelisk in my vision, then I would yeah go all the way up to the top.
Okay.
At least start at the top and work my way down if I can't see anything at the top.
All right. Uh, like going to the top floor or to the roof?
I would start with the roof, and if I don't see anything on the roof, then I would go back inside and start with the top floor.
All right.
Go floor by floor.
By walking down this particular staircase, you can go up to the top floor. Then you have to go down a corridor to the emergency exit,
Okay.
and then
So
you can sort of get or fire escape, and then you can get up to the roof.
okay. So yeah, so I'll go up as high as the stairway will lead me. I'll walk down the corridor, and if nothing kind of jumps out at me as I'm walking down the corridor, then I'll continue on to the roof.
Mm, make, um, make me a wits awareness as you walk past a double door.
One success. One
There's
surprising.
something important behind these doors.
Okay, I'll just kind of pause in front of the doorway. Uh, I'll heighten my hearing
Okay.
and kind of take a step or two closer to the double doors to see if I can hear anything that's on the other side to know whether this is important with my initial vision or if this is random occurrence important that I happen to be walking by.
How much aspects do you have?
Just the first level.
All right. As you move closer to the door, and start listening, maybe not yet holding your ear against the door, but just getting close, you can hear the crackling of a fireplace. Uh, no direct sound, but perhaps a record player playing some classical music, sort of echoing very serene through this particular, well, the room that you're next to.
Okay. I'll adjust my hearing back to normal, and crackling a fire. Um, I you know what? I'll just reduce my hearing back to normal, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to approach the door and knock on it. And if it's nothing of import or anything I don't recognize, then I'm just intending to pass it off as I am lost, and I'm going to roll with asking them for directions to, or
All
try to
right,
figure out where I am.
no problem. Um, you knock on the door. Even though you've turned down your hearing a little bit, you can still hear some movement behind the door as the door opens. You see the cardinal looking at you.
I bow my head and for intrusion, my liege. I was not sure exactly where I was being led.
Ah, yes, you're Malkavian. Well, now that you're here, do come in. I have not sent the summons yet to the rest of your pack.
Uh, of course, and I'll enter in.
Um, if you do not close the door immediately, he'll just say, "Do make sure
Well,
to close the door."
yeah, if he wasn't standing there making me walk past him, if he just said come in and turned around and walked away, then yeah, I'd close the door behind me.
Yeah, he would just tell you to come in and just walk. Sit down very close to the fire, or perhaps bit too close for comfort for you.
Uh, I will walk and what I would judge to be an appropriate distance from him, from my knowledge of etiquette, I will just stand and I guess wait for him to speak first or to direct me to what I should do.
He will gesture to the seat across to him.
Then I
If you
will
could
come
roll
and
me
seat across from him.
courage,
No
because you need to
problem.
approach a fireplace
As long
that
as
is
the
roaring.
dice. Well, and that's why I was contemplating using passion to reduce my emotional state before I knocked. Um, but I'm like, well, if this turns out to be nothing, then who cares if there's a fireplace? That's not a botch, at least.
No, it's not a botch. It's
But
a. Mm, let's just say you're hesitant,
I'm hesitant. Okay.
and seeing that you're a bit hesitant, why not have him be a bit more forceful? And I'm going to make a little roll here. Um,
Okay.
that's that many dice. What's your current willpower?
7.
One, 3, 4, 5. As he sort of just motions to. No, he keeps his hand motioned towards. Don't be afraid, Seth Cardigan, priest of the Fireflies. Just come over and sit across from your cardinal.
I will do a very good job of calming my emotions, as I got 2, 4, 6. I got 7 successes on my passion roll, and then I'll re-roll courage
Well, you
at
don't have
a.
to,
Oh, I don't
because
have to. Okay.
now with the 5 successes of Dominate, Mesmerize,
Oh,
the focus will be on come forward and sit across from your cardinal.
okay. I thought he was going to make me get closer, but I would still have to make the courage. So, but hey, at least I've got bonuses now if I have to make any other courage or self-control rolls through this session.
Exactly.
So we'll sit down.
Now, tell me, what brought you here?
Well, I was working on an I was working on a project and received the impression that KK here may have been in a spot of trouble in this area. So I came to see if I could locate her.
You just missed her. And yes, she is in trouble. Miss Care has quite a bit of problem or difficulty with leadership and authority.
That is an unfortunate truth. I have been attempting to work on it with her, but it is difficult to get through to people's initial training.
Yes, the initial training of her sire, Jacob Burns. When he says that, it's very dismissively. You cannot blame someone for faulty training, I suppose. But a soldier needs to be willing. A soldier needs to listen to its generals and commanders. And, well, tonight she showed to be unwilling. She has loyalty, but not necessarily to the sect. More to a pack. And in doing so, she has made the lives of yourself and the rest of your pack rather difficult, Seth Cardigan. Now, she will need to go through her creation rites again, but it's going to be up to you and the rest of your pack to how dire, how difficult this is going to be.
Understood.
Either all of you, the entire pack, will stand behind her and go through the same ordeal as her, or she goes through it alone.
If you feel that I have failed in my role to provide her with the direction to keep her from overstepping her bounds, then it is but a word of yours and I will accept the same punishment. I am not worried about being able to re earn my rightful place as one of Kane's soldiers.
Good. I do hope that the rest of the pack, the Fireflies, sees it the same as you. Current numbers are yourself, Winston Russell, and the others.
Alistair Cavill was recently blooded, and a reclusive Zemise by the name of Evelyn has recently uh, joined our pack, though she does not keep very steady contact with us.
I see. Alistair. I have heard this name before. Who is this Alistair?
I'm not sure in how many situations, other than perhaps the unfortunate news press releases. Um, Alistair is
Uh,
a very recently embraced child of the shadows. I've been. He came to us on the verge of Wasile, but I have been spending some time trying to assist him in getting better control of himself. And he has so far responded quite well to not succumbing to the beast.
good, good. I'm happy to see and to hear that all is well in that regards. It does me great joy to hear about a priest that takes care of its pack and its members. It's a shame, really, that Kaylee, KK Care, did not.
I have provided her with warnings on how she should express herself. And after the Black Mass, I scolded both her and Winston for their behavior at the Black Mass. But apparently, it did not sink in with her.
No, not yet. But then again, she is 2 months old.
Little bit older than that, but not by much.
I'm not one to make excuses, but a young Canaanite, well, is still a sinner that needs to see the error of their ways more often than not, especially with well, faulty education at first.
So is your command then for us to share in her punishment?
I will not command you to do either. I am giving the entire pack of the Fireflies a choice. Join in, and in doing so, alleviate her punishment. Or let her go through it all by herself.
Very well. Um, we will see how the rest of my pack chooses. I know that they are very closely tied with KK and may, from an emotional response at the very least, if not a psychological one, may choose to share in her sentence.
Good. Do you wish to partake, Seth?
I am of two thoughts on the subject. On the one hand, showing loyalty to one's pack is very important for a leader, and especially for the priest, and therefore, as well as accepting my role in not preventing her from overstepping her bounds. On the other hand, if she needs to go through the creation rites again, I'm not sure if I would necessarily want to remove myself from being able to be the one to help guide her back to that. If our entire pack was unblooded, then there would be some concern that we may end up dispersing or having other individuals once again exerting influence over her progress.
Other individuals?
Well, if she is unblooded and therefore technically not a member of the pack, she may go back to her previous pre-blooded behaviors, either with her mortal contacts or prior to her embrace, she was a ghoul. She may go back to the pack that she started with.
Ah, I see. Back to Jacob Burns then.
Whereas if I maintained my standing as true Sabbat, then I could provide her with guidance and discipline as needed until she re-earned her position as a member.
I will not force a choice upon you.
Of course not. You are here to provide guidance and assistance in an area that desperately needs it.
Correct.
And your ductus, is she also aware of what is going on with our pack right now?
I beg your pardon.
Um, well, I assume with your role as providing guidance that you would be the priest, the one in charge, and the female with the sword is the ductus that is culling the wheat.
He looks at you. What are you referring to there, Seth Cardigan?
The one that's released the fire ants to consume those that are undeserving.
He gets closer to you, a lot closer, and looks at you intently. What have you seen, child of Melkow?
Well, we've been suspecting that some of the difficulties we've encountered are not just random coincidence. The local police have gotten a lot more organized quickly. Uh, at the situation that dragged me into their notice, Winston physically saw a female Cainite who was at the scene observing the situation. Since then, both myself and Winston have had visions pertaining to ants bursting forth from our hands and stripping the flesh off our bones. Winston has also seen this woman with a sword decapitating Canaanites left and right. And investigating, one of the police officers, Mr. Burns, has assured me, as I don't have the ability to tell, that they have been very strongly conditioned with the ability of dominate. And Alistair has encountered an ancient female that chose to remove his fangs for some purpose that he is not disclosing.
I see. Uh, Roll me perception, empathy, just in general. Yeah,
Just in general.
yeah.
Not as
For the
a
entire,
not as a
especially
prelude to rolling initiative or anything.
not necessarily.
2 successes.
2 successes. He looks very intrigued through the entire uh, retelling that you're giving him, nodding a couple of times, not in recognition necessarily, but in uh, like you, a concern about something. When you mention, however, the ancient female removing fangs from Alistair, there is a little bit of a smile, and I'll just roll a charisma subterfuge to see how well he hides his intention with the smile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm quite sure that you're not really picking up on
No.
the exact notion there. He smiles. Oh, what a nice gentleman. Thank you for telling me this, Seth.
But of course.
Then I shall give you some advice if you'll have it. Get the entire Fireflies to partake in the creation rites. And in doing so, solidify your place and Kaylee Care's place. You will show your worth to me and the city by standing together with your brothers and your sisters. Loyalty to the sect is one thing. You also have to be loyal to your fellow brothers and sisters.
Very well. It shall be done. Which do you propose that we get to administer the creation rites when we've earned it? Bishop Kashrimi or Bishop Middlewaith?
Neither. I will oversee this personally.
Very well.
Now, how goes your studies? I believe last time we spoke I was not sure on which path you were.
Unfortunately, it's been rather difficult to locate mentors in this city for Path. I still have ties to my mortal mindset. I've been working personally to try to remove such ties, but not with a recklessness that would lose me to the beast prior to having proper tutorials,
No, that would be idiotic indeed.
which was my concern when Alistair first came to us.
Yes. Do you know much of the various different paths?
Um, I've had some rudimentary discussions prior to arrival in the city. I've discussed briefly with Bishop Kashrimi and Bishop Middlewaith and Smiling Jack as to the various different paths. Uh, I've pretty much had somewhat narrowed down between two different ones that seem to suit my mindset. Uh, though it has been pointed out to me, I seem to be more of a man of action than a bookworm. So I'm thinking the Path of Cain may not be as well suited to my role in the cause as I once thought it may be.
In which then?
Well, I am very much a devotional individual. The Path of Cain and Path of Night are the only two paths that I was really aware of that would have I guess the Path of Catharia as well is a bit more of a devotional path, but it to me it seems a lot more, it's more like warping your humanity than abandoning it. So I have no such interest in following that direction. So I have heard rumors of an individual that is a nihilist in the city. I think I had a dream where Dogwalker told me that I could find him at an abandoned church, but with the difficulties with the police, I haven't really been able to go searching for churches.
Hmm. Peculiar. Who this individual might be. Well, the path of night, my brother. It's a spiritual path. A path of not redemption, but accepting your fate as a predator of God, sent to earth to, well, do his bidding. We need to call the weak. We need to destroy those that well, are unworthy. But in the end, death is such a final solution. A sinner, you see, Seth, a sinner needs to be made to repent. A sinner needs to see the errors of its ways in the hopes to come back into the graces of our Lord. It's all about acceptance of who you are. We are not creatures of light, such as the angels or the archangels. We are the other side of God. And this is something you need to understand, that without darkness there can be no light. We are a necessary means to an end. We are necessary in this world, Seth. we Canaanites, we make sure that there is a balance between good and evil. Even though those terms are mortal in nature, they do ring true in a certain way. Now, I'm not saying you need to be evil for evil's sake, because that is idiocy. But you need to accept that you are no longer a sheep. You're now a wolf. And as a wolf, it is your duty to hunt. But then, add a dash of devotion, a dash of belief in a higher power. And then you find our particular path. If you cannot find this dog walker at an abandoned church, and you prove yourself worthy in my eyes, I will teach.
I appreciate that, Cardinal. I will definitely make sure, whether you provide me this training or not, I will make sure that I prove myself worthy in your eyes. Would you like me to call my pack to us now, this evening, and get this straight?
If they can make it here, why not? The sooner this is dealt with, the better, most likely for all of you.
All right. He pulls out his cell phone and starts texting, and we will summon the rest of the pack.
If they are available and online, of course.
And we will end this scene here, and we will see you at the next scene with the whole pack of fireflies, so showing solidarity. Have a good night. Sleep tight, because we are out there.